Okay, we're going to do volume and area scale factor. It's very similar to like your normal just scale factor, which is your normal lines. But look at this one here. How much bigger is rectangle B compared to rectangle A? Now, let's do it mathematically properly. So I've got 4 divided by 2, which means my scale factor is 2. And it works, because 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 1 is 4. But if we work out the area, that's slightly different, because here my area is 2 centimetres squared, and here my area is actually 8 centimetres squared. So now it doesn't work, because 2 times 2 is not 8. And that's because when we're dealing with 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional objects, we need to like square or cube the scale factor. So my area scale factor is going to be 2 squared, because it's a 2D object. And if you look, 2 times 2 squared is 8. That's what we need to think about. Now, if you think about these 3-dimensional objects, here my scale factor is 6, yeah, because 6 divided by 1 is 6. But if we work out the volume of this one here is actually going to be 1 centimeters cubed, because 1 cubed is 1 centimeters cubed. And my other one, my actual volume is actually going to be 216 centimeters cubed. Again, this doesn't work because 1 times 6 is not 216. So what I actually need to do is 1 times 6 cubed. And it's cubed because it's a 3-dimensional object. When you type that in, that's where you get your 216 from. Okay? So it's always good to go back to like your length scale factor, yeah, and square it or cube it depending on the 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional object. So let's do some questions here. Okay? So these two parallelograms are similar. The area of the smaller one is 15. So I'm going to write 15 centimeters squared on it. So let's work out the length scale factor first. So it's going to be 12 divided by 4. So my scale factor is 3. So to get the bigger one, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to do 15, which is the area of my small one, times by 3 squared. Okay. So 15 by 3 squared, which is 9. So my area here is 135 centimeters squared. Okay. There you go. This one here, we'll work out the length of the smaller one. So I'm going from big to small. So my length scale factor is going to be 8 divided by 12, which is 2/3. So to work out the area, I'm going to have to get the bigger one, which is 99, times it by 2/3. But because we're talking about area, I'm going to have to square that. So 99 times brackets 2/3 squared, which is 44. It's important to put this in brackets because it's going to be 2 squared and 3 squared. Okay. The volume of the smaller container is 20 centimeters cubed. Important, we're dealing with cubes, yeah? So it's a volume, not a surface area. Calculate for the bigger one. So we need to do the actual scale factor, which is going to be 10 quarters. Okay. You don't need to count it down, but I am to make that 5 halves. So I'm going to have to do 20 times by 5 halves. But it's not area we're dealing with now, it's now volume. So I'm going to have to cube that. Okay. So it's going to be 20 times in brackets 5 halves cubed, which gives me 312.5 centimeters cubed. Right, so the volume of the large jar is 1.2. We're doing volume, so it's going to be cubed. So I'm going to have to do my scale factor, which is 24 over 30. Okay, I'm doing some shortcuts here now because you're getting the idea. I'm just going to cube that and times that by 1.2. Now I expect this number to get smaller. Let's just do it. 24 over 30 cubed times 1.2, which I've got 0.614. But of course it says two significant figures, so 1, 2, so 0.61. Okay, the smaller carton of double whipped cream holds 125 millilitres. The larger one holds 200 millilitres. Calculate the height of the carton. Now this is one we have to work backwards. But it's still the same. So I'm just going to put X for one we need to know. So I'm still going to try and work out the scale factor from the smallest to the biggest. Okay? So I'm going to have to do 200 divided by 125. Okay? But you've got to think that is volume. So I'm actually going to cube root all of this to give me a scale factor. So I'm going to do 200 divided by 125. And when I cube root all, I get 1.169. Okay. So that's going to be my scale factor from the smallest to the largest. So I'm going to times that by 11. I think the height of the big one's going to be 12.86 centimeters. And there's no figures to round them to or anything like that. After checking my calculator, actually I realised this is a rounding error. So it actually should be 12.87 centimeters. Right. Next question. Now there's a lot to it. Surface area of cone B is 12.25 times bigger. So I know my area scale factor is going to be 12.25. Okay. The volume of the cone B is 380 centimeters cubed. Calculate the volume of cone A. Now, first of all, we need to look at this from A to B. Now, because it's my area scale factor is 12.25, if I want to find my length, I'm going to have to square root 12.25. So in your calculator, type in 12.25 and square root it. I get 7/2. Yes, that's my length scale factor from A to B. We're talking about volume really, so I need to go from, well, I need to cube it first. So remember to put this into brackets if you're doing it as a fraction. So 7/2, all of it cubed, means I get 343/8. Yeah, and it's my volume scale factor. But again, it's from A to B. I don't want it from A to B. Actually, I really want it from B to A. Now, you could just do 380 divided by 343/8, but I always like to take a reciprocal because I always like to multiply. So I know that 8/343 is from B to A. So I now need to times this by 380. So 8 divided by 343 times by 380 gives me 8.8629. It says to three significant figures, so 1, 2, 3. So it's 8.86, and it's volume, so centimeters cubed. So the main thing you always have to remember is always try and work out your length scale factor, and we can work out your area and your volume one from that. Okay, right, here's some questions for you to do. Pause the video, I'm going to show you some more in a minute. I just want them big enough for you to see. Here's a few more. And if you want your answers, here are your answers. So I hope you enjoyed that lesson.